changing the way we think and how we live our lives is one step in the right direction.
Welcome to Well Berkshires. I am your host, James J. Willis. I am the administrator of the Well Berkshires Community Initiative. Well Berkshires is a mass emotion initiative that is designed to promote policies and programs to foster healthier lifestyles. What does that mean? Well, it means that we want you to eat better, move more, and be well. The format of this show is to speak with community members on what's going on in our community regarding health and wellness activities and to bring that information to you. I'm honored to have two very important guests with me today, the Honorable Mayor Daniel Bianchi. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you, Jim.
And Becky Tefft, who is the Recreational Activities Coordinator for the City of Pittsfield.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for having you both on. I know how busy the both of you are, and there's so much going on in our community with health and wellness activities. And I don't even think we even know what's going on. There's so much going on. And Mayor, you and I were talking before the show started about some of the initiatives that you're very interested in particular working with the kids in the school.
Well, I think it's really important. You know, everything starts with a good foundation of nutrition. I'm a great believer in that. When I was a kid, and my folks came from the old country, and we had a huge garden, and if we weren't eating fresh vegetables and fresh fruits, we were eating them, you know, having been canned. So it really is almost like a foundation of good health. And I'm really encouraged to see Sylvana Bryant, who's the head of our food services program in the school system, is always trying to come up with new ways to encourage the kids to eat fresh vegetables. Years ago, all the vegetables that we received, or a lot of the food that we received was either canned or processed, and we're trying to get more fresh fruits, vegetables, and foods into our school system, and they do a terrific job. I love going to the lunch programs and watching the kids go through the line, and oftentimes they'll shy away from, I was at Reed Middle School, and they would shy away from the green beans. So when the second lunch started, I got in there in the middle of the line, and I made sure each of them tried some green beans. But it's a great foundation, I think, for health. And I've encouraged each school to try to have a garden so that kids can see how food is grown. It's not an easy thing. It takes work, it takes effort, but it's important that they know where it comes from and how to prepare it. And it's my dream that someday we'll have one at every school, but it's my dream also that at Reed Middle School I would love to have a model farm, a mini farm. And I've talked to the people at Berkshire Botanical Gardens, and I've talked to the people at Hancock Shaker Village about possibly partnering up, both of whom, by the way, have been generous partners in the 21st Century Grant Program. So I would love to think that we could put several acres under cultivation at Springside Park, which is adjacent to Reed Middle School, and maybe even someday having heritage breed chickens there, and who knows, maybe even bovines at some point in time. So I think that we have to have a greater understanding of the importance of agriculture, the importance of growing our own, and the importance of nutrition as a healthy foundation for life.
That sounds really exciting. And I think starting off young is that's real. The rubber meets the road. I mean, when you're at a certain age level, and that's what you're used to from growing up, and you're teaching, you eat certain ways, teaching your kids, and it's, on perspective, it's unhealthy. It's hard to make those changes, but I know with the school nutrition regulations that were passed a couple of years ago, I think some of the schools were, they were challenged a little bit because it was an unpopular thing. Now you're forced to start eating healthier, but we don't want to force people to eat healthier. We want to start from the beginning, working with the schools, working with the parents, teaching a youth how to grow a strawberry in a garden. There's an educational purpose for that, and there's a sense of ownership. And I think as we start to get better and better over time, eating healthier, growing gardens, incorporating that as the social norm within the school, I think we'll start to see those changes. And it sounds really exciting.
It is exciting, and it's wonderful to see the other community partners. The Church of Christ out on Valentine Road. I was at a function there in the fall after they'd harvested the produce from their garden, and they said next year, which is this spring, was going to be even bigger. And they have acres and acres of land in cultivation, and they'll be growing fruits and vegetables to be distributed to people throughout the city. So you're seeing that more and more in the churches, and you're seeing other organizations get involved. I know even St. Martin's Lutheran Church over on Dalton Avenue, which is on a small plot of land, but they've put a garden in, as has St. Mark's on West Street. So it's great to see people who have a method of or an ability to reach out to people in all classes. You know, it's great to see them involved.
And we're seeing the popularity of the CSA shares. We're seeing it all over the place. Where the concept where people are buying shares into a farm. They're going there. They're getting food products, and we're seeing the parents do it. Which then,
CSA, maybe you should for people who aren't.
Well, I don't know exactly what everything is. It's like a community share where X Garden offers that to the public, and then the public actually buys into a certain percentage of that farm.
So if there's a farmer, you subscribe to buy X amount of goods throughout the year,
and then you have to go there and put your time in and actually work the farm to get some of your food back. And I think it's a nationwide thing that's actually getting more and more popular. I mean, right off, I see 3 or 4 farms off the the Ward 4 area where it's CSA shares available. It brings a sense of ownership, to the parents, and hopefully the parents will bestow that to the children. And I think all those little things will start to make those changes for the farm to table programs. And I think, down in South County, Monument Mountain High School has a huge community garden program. We've been working with State Rep Smitty Pignatelli, so hopefully we're starting to see that county-wide and across the whole Commonwealth.
Now, are you seeing that, Jim, in higher income? Is there a disparity between lower income and higher income families that participate in that?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know we see a lot of people on Facebook, and people come to the health department all the time because we're seeing more and more restaurants that want to purchase locally grown foods, and they're not sure if it complies with the regulations. So what we do is we promote community gardens. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what the costs are, but every time I go to the farmers market, there's one in Lee now. There's the Lenox Farmers Market. We have the great Pittsfield Farmers Market, which is like it's a whole.
I love it.
It's a completely different environment now than it used to be. It almost feels like it's a fair. But every farmer's market I go to has a table that talks about CSA shares, and then I see it more and more. I'm not sure what those costs are, but something we should definitely look into is
I
seeing
think
who's
there's levels
purchasing.
of participation depending upon the farm, but it's a great concept. My concern is, I would love to see participation from low-income families, and that's oftentimes a more difficult task, but it's so important, so important.
Yeah, it really is, and working with the pantries as well, because we definitely see the low socioeconomic status folks that are getting into the pantries, and it's the canned goods and the high sodium. So something that Healthy Pittsfield, Well Berkshires, and many community organizations are working on, are trying to kind of turn the tables a little bit with the pantries
Bring
to
more
get
fresh fruits and vegetables.
Get away from the 1,000 milligram sodium.
I know for years and years I brought cans of soup, but boxes of pasta to church with me every week. And there probably should have been a better methodology.
But both of you are so active in the community. Because I live in the community as well. I'm raising a family. We go to the Easter egg hunt. That is a wild event as well. I didn't
The
realize
Easter
there's so
Bunny.
many rules.
Becky is the Easter Bunny.
There's so many rules with an Easter egg extravaganza.
Oh my
And
gosh,
so
she's got them all down.
And there, you were there this year. It was a little bit windy, but it's great to see all the kids out there over in the Morningside area.
yeah.
And a good transition into Becky. You're everywhere. There must be at least 2 or 3 Becky Teffts working for the city.
We have 4 Becky Teffts. She's Becky Tefft number 1. We have 3 others.
So what's going on, Becky? This, you're active on Facebook. You have the Parks and Recs page, and I see a lot of good things on Facebook.
Sure.
And what's going on out there?
There's so much going on. I don't think we could fit it all into this discussion or the program, but this past Saturday we had Get Outdoors Day at Springside Park, and that was just a fantastic event. We had beautiful weather. I was stationed down by the Rotary Park playground on Springside Ave, and it was packed. There was a Little League game going on, and there was the base painting. There was lines like to the parking lot almost for that. There's craft table. I did supervised play and relay races, so I was there from 10 to 2. And just seeing the look on the kids' faces, hula hooping, doing sack races, 3-legged races, just promoting the activity. And even the simple thing is bubbles was just like
That's popular.
the blowing bubbles. Who would have thought that would be bring such joy to the children? But it was just a great outdoor activity. And next week, Sticks for Kids, our golf program will be starting on
Pittsfield High School?
Yes, in the back of Pittsfield High School. We had 100 pre-registrants.
Oh, wow.
We had to actually cut it off at 100 participants because the popularity of the program is so large that we didn't want to take away from the quality of the program. And that filled up within a week this year. And it's only 3 days this year because school's getting out so late. So it gets kids out and active and learning the basics of golf. We have local golf pros who are donating their time, high school golf coaches, students who've played and currently playing, and then local community members who are big into golf are also volunteering.
Now, is that program grant funded, or how does that work from a sustainability approach?
Sure,
'Cause I see you're doing it all the time. I see it's done every year.
The
Every
Sticks program,
year.
yeah, that's been done for a number of years now.
Yes, this is actually the 5th year. And what happened was I wrote a grant for it and applied to the National Recreation and Park Association and the Golf Course Builders of America. And we received the grant and for 10 sets of junior golf clubs.
Oh, wow.
And set it up for 6 to 11-year-olds. And the biggest part of that grant is to provide access, no barriers, so everyone can play no matter what. And they're available to be borrowed too and throughout the summer, and it's just a great program. And we got a maintenance grant for 2 more sets.
Oh, great. Congratulations.
So we have 12 sets now, and we've received donations from community members of golf clubs and the golf balls that we can use for the program too. So
It's great to leverage community resources to keep programs like that going.
Yeah.
It's getting back to the sense of community is really important. For years we've gotten away from the community perspective. Whether it's through, we talk about it all the time on the show about zoning, where you have all the strip malls where everyone has to drive to go to the grocery store, you have to drive to the school. I remember when we were kids, they had the farmers market, you walk to school, and we're trying to get back to that way of,
I'm a little bit older than you are, but we used to have markets in every neighborhood. And we'd have 2 or 3 markets. I grew up in Morningside, and you could literally, between church and markets, we had a dentist in the neighborhood, we had a physician in the neighborhood, we had a branch of the Morningside Library. So you actually did a lot of walking. You never thought to hop in a car. I remember when we didn't have a car, and so you walked to where you had to go. There were, an extensive park system, and I want you to talk about the parks programs that are going to happen this year. But so there was an awful lot of activity for kids and just for people, because they walked to the market, they walked to church, they walked to the branch library. Now we've gotten away from that, and we almost have to institutionalize exercise
Right.
again. But you know, our park program is something I would love to see us be able to expand upon. And maybe Becky, you can talk about what's
Absolutely.
going to happen there this year.
I will. So we will have our summer playground program again this year. It will be taking place at 3 parks, at Clapp, Pitt, and Deming Parks. I will be having a staff of 7 this summer, which is great. It's an increase of 1 more
great.
staff person, so we have an extra staff person this year, which is awesome. And at least two leaders will be stationed at each of those 3 parks. The program starts Monday, July 7th, and runs Mondays through Fridays, 9 to 4, through August 15th. And it's a 6-week program for Pittsfield children ages 6 to 13. And we do so much with that program, and I'm trying to add educational components as well, and I'll touch on that in just a second. So we do, athletics, and we do arts and crafts, board games, nature activities, and we just try to get a balance. But mainly, it's so important. It's free, and it's just getting the kids outside, active, engaged, and that's
Fresh
just
air.
in fresh air, not with the video games, not inside
No
on the
iPads.
computers, iPads, phones. We try to limit
Right.
them bringing those to the park as well. But it's just a fun place, supervised play. We do have a field day this year scheduled where 2 of the parks will come to Clapp Park because we have a track at Clapp Park, and
Clapp
we
is a
have
very large park.
we have fields there, so in a basketball court in the playground, so there's going to be a lot of activity.
Adjacent Little League field, softball field.
And then we're going to have lake days too, and the kids always look forward to those because we bus them up to the lake and they go swimming, and they look forward to swimming, and because some of them have not gone up to the lake before.
Right. Yeah, I tell you, what a treasure in the city of Pittsfield, the amount of parks that we have. We go to our local park in our neighborhood. It's loaded with kids every day,
Yeah.
no matter what time of the day, and it's always it's all about sense of community, and,
It is.
and you couple that with activities going on in these parks and playgrounds. We really need to encourage people to get outdoors.
Yeah,
and
we really do have a wealth of parks, and we have a number of urban lakes, but the 2 that people are familiar with are Pontusic and Anota. And I would just encourage people, especially if you have young children, to make sure that you get out and enjoy those lakes. We had 3 kids, and we lived right around the corner from Anota Lake, and it's such a tremendous thing to be able to go and teach a child to learn how to swim. It does so much. Not only does it make them healthy, it gives them a sense of confidence to be able to achieve in other areas as well. So it's it's a wonderful wealth of, and then we cap that all off with the state park, Pittsfield Forest,
Forest.
which is phenomenal. And so we encourage people to get out. We would love as a community to be able to offer more programs, but what we can offer is the parks themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. It's hard. I mean, the upkeep and the maintenance of these parks to keep them going, and we want to encourage people to use the parks. It's on the beach. We take our family there every summer. It's loaded all the time.
It
People
sure is.
cooking out and swimming. It's just it feels like a community, and that's
What a nice, affordable outing for a family.
Yes.
Doesn't cost anything.
No.
It's other than the charcoal
Right.
and the food anyway, but it's the beach is in really good shape. It's staffed. They have the restrooms there.
Yes.
It's just a really I don't know how many other communities that have this many parks and playgrounds.
I've invited people. I used to work for a large corporation over in New York State. Even in New York State's quite a it's got a lot of parks up in the Adirondacks. But I'd invite some of the folks I worked with to come over, and we'd have a cookout at Anota Lake, and they go, this is just one of the most beautiful places in the world. I was down at Plains getting my bike taken care of one time, and these people were disappointed. They were from out of the area, and they had to leave their bikes for a couple of hours, and I go, come with me, follow me. I think they might have thought I was a little off. But I said, please, come with me. I'm going to show you one of the prettiest places in the world. And I took them out to Anota Lake.
Yeah.
And they said, I'm so glad that our bikes were tied up. But, it was an opportunity to see just a unique and beautiful lake.
So what else is going on? I mean, it was some soccer.
Yes,
something
we
you
have
put
a
on?
soccer program just for kicks. We just promoted that yesterday, made that announcement, so registration is now open for that. It's our soccer program that will take place. It's going to be broken up into 2 sessions this year, so we can provide the program for more kids. 60 participants, for each program is the limit. First come, first serve. It's going to be for Pittsfield children ages 5 to 10.
5 to 10.
And it will be July 7th, 8th, and 9th at Clapp Park from 9 a.m. to noon. And it will be Thursday and Friday, the 10th and 11th at Pitt Park from 9 a.m. to noon.
Now, as far as registration?
As far as registration goes, the registration forms are available at our office in room 205 of City Hall. They're available on our website as well on cityofpittsfield.org, and find Parks and Recreation on there, and you'll be able to download the form and send it right in. And to touch back on the playground program for a minute, we're working on several partnerships to enhance the program this year. And the recreation program has been a part of the Healthy Pittsfield Partnership. I'm sure that you've talked about this on your program many times. And so this year, through that, we're working on trying to bring a nutritionist into the program just for an hour for the kids to just, we haven't worked out the full details yet, but just to expose the children to nutrition, healthy eating, and habits and everything like that. And we're promoting literacy through our program this year. We're working with Berkshire United Way to do that. And last year we had local author Ty Allen Jackson come in to each of our parks and give books to each child who came. So we're just trying to really enhance our programming. And Berkshire Environmental Action Team will also be partnering with us this year, and to do educational components for Pitt Park, which is really great. So that, the playground program is going to be really busy happening at the parks this summer at Clapp, Pitt, and Deming. And then we also have, working with some of our Healthy Pittsfield partners, the YMCA, Berkshire Running Center, and Berkshire Lightning is one of the ones that are not a part of Healthy Pittsfield yet, but they're the program that provides the track program for young men and women in the county.
Now, when you say young men and women, you're talking teens and below?
Teens and below.
Oh, okay, good.
So
Don't want you getting out there. Don't get your hopes up, Jen.
well, we're always looking for volunteers, but we do have great volunteers and great partnerships. But we will be having Pittsfield track and field games on Saturday, July 26th at Taconic High School. And again, working with those partners, we're going to have the 100 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters, the mile, and a softball throw, and to mimic the shot put.
Well.
And wow. And
better disclose there'll be no javelin competition?
Right, no javelin,
yeah, okay,
because
good,
we're
good.
working on safety. And then the long jump.
Yeah.
So just to kind of provide a little sampling for kids 6 to 14, just to introduce the basics of
Track and field is such a great sport.
I used to.
It's a popular sport too. It's really popular.
And it's the sport anybody, if you've got a pair of sneakers, you can get out and run and compete. And I know it has waned in years in popularity, but I think it's coming back. I think that the interest in running is coming back, and the field competitions are as well.
I see a lot of people jogging now all over the city. And biking, I think, is a popular thing. And we have some good bike lanes in downtown now. We're seeing them pop up in other communities. Yeah. Really trying to change the environment, the physical environment, so it makes it easier for everyone to exercise and play.
Definitely. And we held our annual community bike ride. We also have that as another promotional healthy activity. We have that in May, and it's just another sense of community coming together, and it's just under 6 miles round trip. So we highlight the Burbank Park, the lake, and then going up to Pittsfield State Forest and back. So it just highlights several of our gems within the city. And, you know, we love to promote
It's a lot going
healthy
on.
activities.
We have
so.
the 4th of July parade coming up.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, yes.
5K run. And
Yes,
that's a
Before
popular
that,
run too.
It's
Yes,
incredibly
it
popular.
is.
Yeah.
Definitely
I try
is.
to do it every year, and I'm way in the back, but you know.
Yeah. I'm always on South Street on Float Street as a volunteer for the parade committee, so I'm always there at 5:30 in the morning, parade morning.
It's
but
amazing how many people come out to the
I
parade
know, it's
every
great.
year.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
Oh, that's you want to talk about a stamp within what a community is all about. I mean, thousands of people come out. I mean, when I have to go out at 4 a.m. to put my chair
Yep.
out and I have no room.
I know. I'm glad I'm glad I march in
know.
the parade because I was always out
Yes.
at the crack of dawn putting up a chair somewhere.
Right.
Yeah. So we got a couple minutes left. Is there anything else you wanted to actively promote what's going on in some of these all these events you have going on in the city?
There's just so much, but if
Yeah.
anyone has any questions, they can always call me or shoot me an email. My phone number is 499-9370, and the easiest email to give you is parks@pittsfieldch.com to
very good.
email.
You know, and with the great City of Pittsfield website, on the community development website, there's the whole section where all the parks and playgrounds are.
Yes.
There's a map of them.
We just revised
Yeah, it is
our
a-
parks brochure, so there's enhanced listing of all of our parks, which includes the acreage and all the amenities at each park, and then has a map on the other side.
Yeah, we'd really encourage every family to try to participate. I know raising 3 kids, you're always worried, okay, how are we going to keep the summer meaningful? What are we going to, how will the kids be occupied? But the thing is, if you pick 1 or 2 things that are going on in our park system, I think your kids would get a great experience, and I think it'd be a great experience for the parents as well.
Absolutely. Well, I really want to thank the both of you. Mayor, Becky, you guys are super busy, and I really appreciate the time to come out and talk about what's going on in the city of Pittsfield. And thank you, and enjoy your summer.
Yes, you too,
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you once again for tuning in to Be Well Berkshires. I am your host, Jim Willis. Remember, eat well, move more, be well Berkshires. Thank you.